Welcome to Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of STAR BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. B for brand, D for development, and M for masters. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By watching the Follow the Brand TV series, you will learn how to differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients. As the saying goes, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's jump into our next episode on Follow the Brand TV.
I would like to introduce the next speaker, Mr. Grant McGaugh. I hope I said it right. Please correct me if I'm incorrect about that. So, Mr. McGaugh, are you here?
Yes, I am. I am right here.
Yes.
And Meredith, you are rocking it. You're rocking it. You're doing great. First of all, you're probably one of the few people that I've met that pronounce my name right out the bat the right way. I am Grant McGaugh from Omaha, Nebraska. So I always tell people it rhymes. Like once you hear it, you'll never forget it. Yeah.
No, I love it. I want to read your amazing bio because you are, brother, you sharp.
Thank you.
So, Mr. McGaugh is literally a personally branding company in technology and executive entrepreneur and healthcare advocate. As an owner and founder of a 5-star BDM, Brand McGaugh is recognized by Legacy Magazine as a thought leader and super connector for healthcare professionals. His highlights include establishing a statewide organization for the National Association of Health Services Executives for Florida. Bravo! Bravo! I think you are so necessary because if we didn't appreciate healthcare people before the pandemic, our eyes have been open. So without further ado, I'm going to give you the stage and please educate us on your services. So
before you leave, we want to make sure, try to make this as interactive as possible. I'm going to tell a story, but after I am done, if there's any comments, if people have questions, please send your questions in. If you have questions, Meredith.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have some conversation because that's going to elevate the discussion.
Okay, perfect. So if the guests and the viewers have questions, I'm sure that they'll make sure that the other side they see it. But I know I'm going to have questions and comments at the end of your speech. So stay tuned for me because I take notes.
I'll be here.
Yes.
No worries.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning to Mr. Grant McGaugh. And I want to ask a couple of questions first. And that is, did you know that 50 million Black Americans account for over $1 trillion in revenue per year, which ranks as the 15th largest economy in the world and represents a $300 billion market opportunity in 2022? Did you know that the most educated, wealthiest, technically savvy group of Black people in the world live right here in the United States of America? Did you know that the most successful billion-dollar personal brands represented in the world were created by Black people? Entertainment, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. Music, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Rihanna. Sports, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Venus, and Serena Williams. However, billion-dollar business personal brands are dominated by Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Warren Buffett. Most Black people are not familiar with Robert Smith, chairperson of Vista Equity Partners. David Stewart, founder and chairman of IT provider Worldwide Technology. Or Alex Karp, CEO of Palantir Technologies. They are Black billionaire entrepreneurs in finance and technology. A strong personal brand has the potential to accelerate careers and businesses, differentiate great candidates, and open doors to new connections and opportunities. All of us have business stories to tell, and the way we tell them or don't tell them can make a big difference in the opportunities we attract. We live in a world where your online reputation can be your strongest asset or your biggest liability. A world where sales and marketing are better executed by employees with strong personal brands than by the brands themselves. A world where companies hire not based on resumes and cover letters, but on information they find online. When brand messages are shared by employees on social media, they get 561% more reach than the same messages shared by the brand's social media channels. The bottom line is that we trust people more than we trust brands, and we engage with people more than we engage with brands. If you don't get involved on social, you're losing out to companies that do. Leads developed through social media activities convert 7 times more frequently than any other leads. Entrepreneurs who use social media as part of their sales techniques outsell 78% of their peers. 92% of people trust recommendations from individuals, even if they don't know them, over brands. Marketers who prioritize blogging are 13 times more likely to enjoy a positive ROI. So take a note of likes, comments, and shares and search equal visibility with your target audience. This is how I grew my LinkedIn connections from 13 to over 20,000 collectively. Consistency is key. It takes 5 to 7 impressions for someone to remember a brand. So, how did I get my start? When I was working for a large Fortune 500 company back in October 2019, my boss called me and without warning told me and 50 of my peers that we were being laid off. I was suddenly faced with financial uncertainty and I had to think about my next opportunity. Since I had some time off, I went to a seminar and one of the attendees heard of my recent unemployed status and asked me if I was interested in representing this company on a commission basis as a business development manager. This was exactly the spark I needed to begin thinking about how I could add value to companies that needed an account and brand manager but could not afford a full-time employee. I had to learn to know and operate from my deepest why. I would need to focus my passion to launch a business. I believe that many companies can increase their reach through my curated network of highly successful companies and entrepreneurs by hiring my team and myself as a business development partner. So I formed 5-Star BDM in January 2020 with one client and has quickly grown over the last 2 years because I define and share my core value of working to connect people, brands, and services through stories. All successful people and brands have a clear why. 5-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for small to mid-sized businesses and entrepreneurs. I'm also the host of the Follow the Brand podcast and Follow the Brand TV, built to launch your success in personal branding, business development, career development, and financial empowerment. If you want to be compelling and interesting, you must truly believe in something. You must have a clear stand. That stand becomes your brand. It becomes your trademark. It becomes how you distinguish yourself from others. Now, a common question I get a lot is, what is my 5-star story? The story that got me started in personal branding. I will answer that question with 3 numbers. 747. 7 ways to elevate. 4 lessons I learned. 7 investments to make in me. What is my 5-star 747 story? It's an episode in my life in which my personal brand was born. My 747 story was launched at the Denver airport on April 20th, 2014.
This was my first day of training for a Fortune 500 company for sales optimization. Now, most sales training classes are routine, lots of company branding. There's an overview of company processes and products with an introduction to key executives and peers. So when I landed in Denver, I wanted to get as much out of this training as possible. I was looking for an opportunity to grow in my sales career. I felt stagnant and I was not learning any new ways to connect with my potential clients. So after arriving at the office and getting to know the surroundings and people in the class, and the trainer, the instructor, he introduced himself as the brand ambassador, and that he was going to take the class through a course that would revolutionize the way we sell. A clear sign it was time to strap on my seatbelt and get ready for takeoff. Now, as he entered the course runway, he hit the jet throttle and stated, if you are using social media to speak just to your friends and relatives, you are missing the greatest opportunity in your career. Remember, this is 2014, and the social media buzz for business was in its infancy. He quickly presented a top executive LinkedIn profile on the screen and stated, do you know that 8 out of 10 of the key executives that you need to sell to are on this platform, and that the only reason you're not doing business with them is because you are invisible to them? I could now feel the 747 jets lifting off the runway into the imagined deep blue sky. I was now keenly attuned to the instructor and was very curious as to what he was going to say next. He then instructed each of us to go to our LinkedIn page and look at our profile. Then he stated, I wanted to look at the executive profile I had projected on the classroom screen. Notice the professional headshot, the customized and well-branded background, the optimized business title, and the first 3 sentences on the About section. Now look at your LinkedIn profile and ask yourself honestly, if you think this person would do business with you or even connect with you based on your LinkedIn information. Most of you in the room would be invisible to this person. Let us change that. I looked at my profile and I was taken back. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I had not taken the time to invest in a professional headshot. I had a very ordinary picture of myself. It was a full body shot, outdoors, nice casual shirt. My banner section had the company name I worked for previously with the standard corporate title. My About section was a description cut and pasted from my resume with very little differentiation from anyone else in my profession. All in all, my profile said, IT sales guy looking to pester you for your business. This was my aha moment. I had to change my image to reflect my potential and breadth of experience. Needless to say, the instructor had my full attention as we reached cruising altitude. I locked in to learn as much as I could. Here are the 7 ways to elevate your personal brand. First, personal branding will differentiate you from your competition and allow you to build trust with prospective clients and employers. Learn to tell a clear and compelling career or business story. Be relatable, clear, and deliver a true sense of what it would be like to work with you. Paint the picture for them before they paint the pictures themselves via Google search or online media that you have not curated to reflect what you're doing. If you have not curated and reflected, your personal image, that's going to be a problem. So when bringing up past experiences, it's better to lead with the problems we faced in each new role, our approach to solving them, and the outcomes. Make it about how past experiences contributed to where you are now. Second, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart. Potential employers and clients are more interested in your strengths and abilities to power through problems than your career history. There are better ways to approach telling our stories than in a bio or an elevator pitch. Start with the vision that you have, the results you create, and the people you love to serve. Third, a personal brand is a great way to demonstrate your skills and knowledge about a particular subject or industry. A great way to bolster your personal brand and connect to opportunities is by sharing your best practices with others. When you know the value you can offer other people or organizations in your industry, it makes it easier to reach out to your network and offer to facilitate a workshop, sit on a panel, or write an article for a publication. Fourth, develop what is the best way to position you online in your industry. Now, that could be a weekly blog, a podcast, or an industry post. Identify and communicate your value and articulate your style, contributions, and the skill and strength you rely on to perform your job. Identify changes you've initiated and examples of your problem-solving skills. Very important. 5, seek to deliver incredible value to your target audience. This strategy is most powerful when you genuinely want to help others and share knowledge, your opinions without expecting anything or something in return. Your platform should be a place where followers get information and inspiration to live a better life. Number 6 is build a reputation in your industry as the go-to person. I am the go-to person for. Can you finish that sentence? And what would others say if you ask them to finish it for you? For me, it's relationships. If people are not reaching out to you for your professional advice in your chosen field, then think about how you are presenting yourself professionally. Don't claim to do stuff. Be known for it. And 7, success is magnetic and will attract other successful people. Most successful people are very confident, and we are naturally attracted to strong, confident people. Be visible and active in online communities that align with your brand, career, or business and deliver your unique perspectives. After this stellar training course, I knew I had to double down on what I just learned. I was woke to a new way of personally branding myself through digital media. There was no way I could go back to the old way of doing things. Effective training sessions are only effective if you are still deploying new techniques months and years after the training, meaning what you learned has now become a part of yourself. Now let's talk about the 4 lessons I learned in my 747 story that I had to incorporate into my daily routine. I had to recreate my profile to be compelling and attractive. I had to make my headline descriptive. I had to include a summary. I had to have a complete and relevant profile. Very important, very important. And now I had to think about creating a brand presence. And I did that by partnering with companies and associations that emit trust. Like I was part of the National Association of Health Services Executives, or with HIMSS and very large organizations and businesses. I had to be consistent across all my marketing touch points. And remember, a brand is how you make people feel. Make them feel good. Educate them. Develop my online communication with rich content, video, picture, industry articles. Anyone who follows me sees a lot of content that is instructive, that's intelligent, that gives you something in return. And number 4, the 4 lessons that I learned, is to continue to build my target audience. Don't focus on time and effort. Focus on results instead. I did this through digital events, webinars, seminars, virtual touchpoints, and physical online events all the time. I had to understand the geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral traits of my audience. I had to stand out from the crowd and not be invisible to my prospects and potential clients. I had to have more of a focus and be seen as a game changer in my industry. I took the time to develop my brand through my online presence with genuine experiences. Personal branding is a lifelong project that constantly evolves and changes. So, What are those 7 investments I had to make on the last leg of my journey? Remember, your priority investment must be in yourself. Number 1, be consistent in delivering my brand on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Own that. Shift my messaging from getting to giving. 2, invest in an outstanding written bio and headshot done by a professional. Invest in yourself. 3, invest at least 80% of my off time into learning. Don't work for money, work to learn. 4, create a personal brand statement that sums up your brand. It explains what you do, from whom do you do your work, and how you do it, which sums up your unique value proposition. Sign up with public speaking classes to speak and communicate clearly. Becoming a better thinker, communicator, and better at your craft will improve the quality of your work. Number 6, follow informed relationships with experts in your field for tips and ideas. Relationships are assets that can and should grow bigger and better over time. Create win-win strategic partnerships. And the last but not least, number 7, hire a professional mentor or business coach. If you want to do something extremely well, you will need to surround yourself with the right mentors. Anything that you'll ever do well will be the result of high quality mentoring. Here's my question for you. Are you in the audience of your life, or are you on the center stage of your life? You can become the kind of person who does highly influential work. Your work can solve pressing problems, improve people's lives, and get noticed by important people. You could have the world's most important message or greatest story, but no one will ever see it if you don't promote and package it intelligently. The quality of who you are as a person and the work you do is completely within your control, but you can't wish for it to happen. You must become the kind of person who naturally attracts the success you see. This is my 5-star 747 story. If you want to be more visible and credible, building your personal brand will help you determine who you are and where you're going with clear direction. Without personal branding, you will become a commodity in the marketplace, have a disadvantage in comparison with others, and lose significant career and business opportunities. Develop a strong call to action and make a stand in your market. Be credible, authentic, and instill curiosity for others to want to know more about you. I was able to grow my network to over 20,000 professionals in the field of healthcare and technology with a consistent brand presence that excites and informs my community. Become the CEO of your personal brand. You must believe in yourself. Very, very important. Now, normally, I don't give all the secrets. Say, well, Grant, I see what you're talking about. I get it, because what I just framed for you just now is what is called the why. Why? Why am I doing personal branding? So now I hope you get that understanding. Now, how? How is important? How do we get there? How did I go from 13 followers, and I'm going to frame this story in a way of the National Association of Health Services Executives, or NAHSE for short. This is a Black executive organization that elevates executives in healthcare, and they help to serve underserved communities all across the nation. Some of the members are part of hospital systems like Kaiser Permanente, like Common Spirit, Atrium Health. Some of the largest healthcare systems in the entire United States are part of this organization, but they weren't very well known. They've been around for 50 years. They've been in Florida for 20, 25 years. So I took over the helm. They've elected me as president, and I said, okay, we're going to grow. We need to grow substantially, because when I took over the helm and I saw we only had 13 followers on social media, but that's not going to get it done. That is, if you are using old techniques, As one person told me, if you're using ordinary strategies to try to do something extraordinary, you're going to lose the race. It's not going to happen. If you're still knocking on doors like in the 1970s, right? If you're still banging out phone calls like in the 1980s, doing sales splits, thinking that's going to, make a difference, maybe not. If you're doing things like in the 1990s, email, I'm going to email you to death. Email was new. It was a good way to communicate with people. And people still do it today. But right now, and probably in the last 7 to maybe 10 years, the best way to communicate with people is social media. Initially, how are you going to create a relationship? By just simply knocking on their door, calling them on the phone, or emailing them if they don't know you at all. It's not that they're trying to ignore you. They're trying to be, rude or anything like that. You don't have any kind of established relationship, nothing at all. So when you learn or know how to utilize social media, and my friend is LinkedIn, it becomes powerful. Now, how did I do it? I took the story of the National Association of Health Services Executives. It's a powerful story. It's a riveting story. And there are people, generations of healthcare executives constantly coming into the industry are not getting this story. They're not hearing about the story. NAHSE had a case competition year over year. And some people that were into healthcare, maybe you're seeking a master's of healthcare administration, probably get involved in the case competition. You may have heard, of NAHSE at that time. That was their form of communication. Well, we didn't have case competition in Florida. What was I going to do? So I decided to let's tell the story on social media. Let's put out riveting content. Let's create videos. Let's have a story around who we are and what we do. And when I did that, people started to tune in. And as they tuned in, what I mean by tuning in, they started to like the information, the content, physically. Now remember this, I'm gonna tell you another secret about social media. It's like I call the iceberg effect. What does that mean, the iceberg effect? The iceberg effect is this. When someone is liking, commenting, or sharing on your post, that represents maybe 30% of the people that are actually engaging with your content. The other 70% underneath the water of the iceberg is where the majority of your audience rests. They're looking at it. They might not have made themselves visible, but they're there. They're there. And sometimes they make themselves visible. So as they made themselves more visible, I would then connect with them, right? Meaning I would see XYZ person, they work at XYZ company, and I had an advantage because I had a niche market. I was looking specifically for Black healthcare executives in Florida, right? So as they connected with me, I would then send them a message about their organization, and then they would just opt in and become a member. That was great. And then I could search for them. I could see them. I could put in an organization that's in Florida. Let's say it's Orlando Health. Maybe it's a Admin Health. Maybe it's just another large entity. And I would seek out Black people and make sure that they were there. And I would reach out to them with my message that's coming from the organization. So they would be aware. They can easily say, no, I'm not interested, but they would at least be aware. And when they became aware, they became interested. They became an engaged audience. And I used that effectively. It was extraordinary because I wasn't just reaching out. This is the cool factor of personal branding. As you reach out and you're doing things effectively, people start reaching out to you that you didn't even know. You're like, wow, they're reaching out to you. They're starting to connect with you. That is the cool factor. The best thing you can happen. If you're in sales or any kind of business development activity, how cool is it that people are seeking you out? They want to know about your products and services. They want to know what you do. They want to know how you can help me because they see you helping other people. Awesome. It's an awesome strategy. This is a strategy that you must learn to deploy. But you got to step back because you have to develop your story. You can't just willy-nilly like, oh, I'm just going to connect with this person, that person, that. No, 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 no. You have to have a compelling story. You have to have a reason. What is your why? That is what's important. So I see that Meredith is back. And I'd like to ask, what other questions may you have or anyone else that came up? I can't see that. I can't see that. I can't hear you.
I have been taking notes. I feel like a kid in class.
Awesome, awesome.
So I do have some questions for you. This was phenomenal. Again, you can talk for hours and we're here to listen. It was phenomenal information. You know, what touched me was your introduction, and that's what geared my attention to you and what you were about to talk about. You had facts and numbers that we rarely hear about if we're not in the business. You said that Black people make up 1 trillion of the economy in this, in this planet, well, at least here. And then in America, we're the 15th largest group. And $300 billion of it is ours. It's the most amazing things to hear these numbers. And the reason why I value that so much, because I am in the publishing space. And being in the publishing space, I have what society calls, well, at least in the media world, it's called a niche publication, bridal. So we do weddings and all of that other good stuff. But they put a niche market, but it's a $300 billion industry. That's a pretty hefty niche, if you have to say so. So the reason why I say these things is because you came out with the numbers. You showed us that there's value in who we are. How do we, so my question to you is, how do we make those numbers that show us that we're a part of those numbers? Where do we see our value in those numbers? How can we do that?
That's a great question. It's a fantastic question. And it's what you do every day. If you take 50 million divided into 3, remember that 300 billion is market opportunity. That means that $1 trillion we generate. We're the fifth. When I say we're the 15th largest economy on the planet, which is true, we're as big as Canada, as big as Mexico. It's knowledge, it's awareness, it's perception. We have a bad perception of us as an economic group. That has to change. It has to change. So how do we contribute to that? Every single day. Every dollar that you make, where all that is accumulated into those numbers. How you spend and utilize those dollars is what's important. See, we're part of a $20 trillion economy. That's the U.S. economy. The U.S. economy is so big, no one's even close to the U.S. economy when it comes to other nations, right? I mean, this is a huge drop off. But here we are, a subset, if you want to, kind of carve us out. Mm-hmm. But you need to carve ourselves out. We need to understand our foundation. Make that $1 trillion foundational, because then you have leverage. Right. When you have leverage, you can do things. So to answer your question, every single person contributes to that number. Everything you do, whether you work at McDonald's or you're the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you contribute to that number. Now think about how you utilize that resource every single day.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's powerful. And so this led me to the other statement that you made. We seem to know only a few of the billionaires, the millionaires, the Jay-Z's, the Rihanna's, but yet nothing wrong with that, because they are what's in the media consistently. But we have Robert Smith, which I had the honor and privilege of meeting and interviewing at Susan Taylor's fundraising event. And he is also the president, I think on the host committee or something at Carnegie Hall. So this Black man has maneuvered his way successfully across all platforms globally known. So you just gave us homework to do. It is imperative that we expand our network and stop only knowing what the few people that the media allows us to know, and to do our due diligence to know more, which goes to your statement of making sure that we develop our own personal branding and network with other people as we're developing our identity and our identity message. So now if we're doing homework and we're getting to know these people, guess what we want to do? You just motivated me just by speaking and hearing you speak. So what are some ways that you think that you would recommend that people that are intimidated by the Robert Smith, by you, Mr. Grant, and say, oh my God, I could never be like him. It's, oh my God, how do we get over ourselves first?
You know, that's a good question, because I hear that a lot. It's confidence, right? And having confidence in yourself and understanding what you're doing has value. Now, if you follow me on my podcast, I interview sometimes it's ordinary people, just like yourself. And because you now have an opportunity to focus, whether it's on personal branding, career development, business development, or financial empowerment, you focus that you begin to say, I have something of value that I'm sharing. I have a uniqueness. Like no one has a voice just like you. No one has a voice just like me. This is your unique signature. No one has your fingerprint. It's up to you to be able to tell the story of you in video, in print, in picture. Tell your story. Why are you on this planet? Step back. Ask yourself that. Now, you can go to, and I know this sometimes it's hard to get started. You go to my website, www.5starbdm.com, right? You're going to see an online questionnaire. It's just going to ask you 15 basic questions, but it's going to help you to frame your story about what's important about you and how others see you. Remember, this is about perception.
Right.
Right? Personal branding is like, what are people saying about you when you're not in the room? Right? And then how are you influencing that discussion? That's what's important. Like people say, well, you know, there's Google, there's social media. You know what? I have Google work for me. So what? How do you have $1 trillion company work for you? Very simple. I give it what it wants. It wants information. I give it the data that it's seeking. When you make a post on Twitter, it immediately, if somebody Googled you, let's just say if you're easily Googleable, it depends on your name and that type of thing, it's going to pop up in the first page. People pay a lot of money to pop on the first page.
Yes, they do.
This works, you know? So I'm giving away all my secrets for free today, but you can contact me for a free consultation. No.
That's amazing. I know I will be calling you. So this leads me to the other point, because you made some really amazing points. While we're developing our personal branding, it is imperative that we have professional pictures. I come from 30 years of being in the fashion world. I worked with Vera Wang, Carolina Herrera, Oscar de la Renta. I worked for Vogue, Glamour, Cosmo, Essence, Ebony. I've done it all. I've worked with iconic photographers, from Rowena Husband, who's going to be a guest speaker, Rowena Husband, Annie Leibovitz, Mark Baptiste, you name it, I worked with them. People today think because they have an iPhone that this by itself is making a professional picture for them, and that's going to be the image that they set. Can you please just give us briefly, why is it important that not only the quality of the picture that we post up, the kind of image, because you know, you said you were nicely dressed, you know, with a polo shirt, and you know, you look nice, but you didn't like it. You had to reassess the message that you were sending out through one photo. Why is that so important that we look at our personal image and what we're posting on social media?
I tell you, you got 8 seconds. You have 8 seconds to impress somebody. And that's if you're in front of them. And social media, you've got maybe 1 to 2 seconds. 1 to 2 seconds. And then who is your audience? So if you're projecting an image, and I see this so much on LinkedIn, that people just don't take the time to put up any kind of image. It doesn't have good resolution. Just for instance, you're gonna, hey, somebody wants to reach out to you to be on the panel, and you've got this image on social media that is poor pixelation, meaning low quality, low resolution, right? No banner background, nothing about your story. Yeah, you might be a phenomenal person because they obviously they looked you up, but you have not invested. This is what about investing in yourself is about. Remember, if you were going to go to a business interview, right? You're going to dress for success. You're going to have on a suit, tie. Look at you. You look great. You know, nice outfit. You're dressed to impress, right? Now, if I look at your LinkedIn profile and I see, like for me, there's goes Grandy's in a polo shirt on LinkedIn. Remember, I'm in this person's virtual office. It's still an office. It's still his eyeballs. It's still his state of mind. So what image is he now forming of you? Perceptions that he is now forming of you. Now, if you have a nice, and I'm not saying you got to go out and get a glamour shot. I'm saying you need a nice, professionally done photo of yourself. It may cost you $100 to $200, but then let's say you're going to, be on a program such as this. You got to send your photo in to be reproduced, on the flyers, on the cover art. And if you have poor pixelation, it's going to look horrible. And then if you don't have all you've got is pictures you've taken on your phone. Now, some of these phone shots aren't terrible. Just be cognizant of what you look like. What is the perception that you're putting out there about yourself? So if someone else looks at it, they're like, yeah, that person is somebody I want to get in touch with.
Is it appropriate? What I'm hearing you're saying, is it appropriate for the message and the business you're looking to attract?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that's a mouthful. My last point that I picked up from you is the power of association, collaboration, and who we surround ourselves with. And I have to say, with all three of you speakers this morning, you have consistently said the same thing. I have made it my point because I want to continue to grow my business. While we currently have 2.5 million people, and on our personal platform, we also have access to 8 million people globally. I am still very active in my networking business. In the essence of, I am on the leadership team of the United Negro College Fund. So I do, so I'm sitting on boards and tables with other executives that if I tried to cold call them, they wouldn't know who I am. But now I have a personal relationship with them because we have a common genius, a genius in common, that we're raising money for our community. I am also a part of Music Kitchen, which helps bring classical music to the homeless shelter. I found ways that I can contribute philanthropically to my community while doing business. I am on Marsha Jew's Keep It Moving program. I write a column for her once a month. It's called Mind Your Own Business. It literally attracted New York City's television network to have a meeting to have me consider doing a program. So my question to you is, how do we help people? Because oftentimes I've been in the industry for 30 years, but yet I kept getting in my way because I was too afraid. I'm not good enough. It's not me. It's not my time. Or, oh, I can't be like, Mr. Grant. I can't be like him. What would you recommend? How do we get out of our own way?
Well, remember, I was just like all the people you just talked about, especially back in 2014. Just ordinary, right? I had to get intentional about it. I had to make up my mind to be active in a different way. I had to get out of my comfort zone. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's why I was talking about even earlier. You want to be, get some speaking classes. The person, Tandra, spoke earlier, networking. You got to get in front of people, but you got to be comfortable. And the only way you get comfortable is by practicing. You practice, right? And you begin to hone your story. You begin to know your story. Then you begin to look at, all right, what associations do I need to have to elevate my brand? because it's all about elevation, right? What can I do? For me, it was be a part of the largest healthcare organization in the world. That was HIMSS. So I'm going to find out how to become a member. From becoming a member, I'm going to find out how I can be active. Hey, can I be part of a committee? And I just joined the committee. And then I want to then, participate. And then people get to know me. And then all of a sudden, guess what? I'm in the audience of the people I want to be in touch with anyway. They work with all the different hospital systems that I want to be a part of. So you be strategic in your plan. Understand don't just join anything. Think about, all right, who can elevate my plan? Who do I need to do business with? Where do they hang out at? What are they a part of? And how can I be a part of that? And you start at where you're at. First become a member, and then remember, you got to align with your passion. Because if you're not passionate and you're not genuine and you're not authentic, it's going to be obvious. So find something you're passionate about, become a part of that, and then you get brand elevation, because you're not a part of them; they are part of you, and it elevates your brand.
Wow,
does that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Before I let you go, can you please tell us your website one more time and an email address where people can email to get an appointment with you to get our business started?
Oh, without question. So go to my website, www.5, that's the number 5, all right, STAR BDM, which is B for brand, D for development, M4masters.com. Right. You can reach me at grant.mcgaugh, that's MCGAUGH at 5starbdm.com. And I always look for guests on my podcast. I have a award-winning podcast, all kinds of different people. I encourage you to take a look at what we're doing, because I want to tell your story. You could be early careers. You could be a student. You could be a mid-careers. You can be a senior level executive, a business owner. I want to tell your story, because once we get more visible in the broader community, and I will tell people just do I have 1 moment? 1 more minute. I want to say this because it's so important. Like if you went to my LinkedIn feed right now, you're going to see a ton of people that have already commented on a post I sent out this morning. How does that happen? It's called a POD, a pod. This is what Black people need to do. One thing I noticed, we're not very active on these networks. Like, share, comment, and then get a group of people that are like-minded, that fit into your organization, and agree. It's like, you know what? When I make a post, you're going to like, share, and comment. And if you have 10, you only need 10 people. Everybody does that. Your post will automatically get into a viral state and be federated throughout your community.
Wow.
Know how to operate these technical systems. Thank you.
Besides showing booty shots?
Yeah, well, you attract that kind of attention, but yeah.
And that is why I say we need to mind your business, because it is important that we mind our business if we want to get anywhere and attract the kind of people that we want. Mr. Grant, I want to thank you. It has been an honor just listening to all your wisdom. I look forward to having my own appointment with you and sending some of my clients to you. I look forward to meeting you in person very soon. So until the next time, genius is coming, and I will see you on the other side.
Thank you very much.
5-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.